friends follow you from Monday all the way to Friday dinner. You got one day of shelter, then it's Sunday, hell to pay, you young lost sinner. Well, I've been there sitting in that same chair, whispering that same prayer half a million times. It's a lie though, buried in disciples. One page of the Bible isn't worth a life.
Something wrong with the village, with the village. Oh, there's there in the village, in the village. Oh, there's something wrong with you.
It's true, it's true. There's something wrong in the village, in the village.
Something wrong in the There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, there's there in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. There's something wrong in the village.
Hey everyone. My name is Peyton. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm excited to introduce our guest speaker today, Jay Bates. Jay is a preacher, storyteller, coach, a youth worker rooted in liberating the works of Jesus Christ, and a vision of flourishing life for all. Jay specializes in adoptee-centered ministry, LGBTQ plus issues, and anti-racism and racial justice. People of the Grove, please give a big welcome for Jay Bates.
All right. Hey, y'all. Well, like Peyton just said, my name is Jay. I use he, him pronouns, and I am so honored to have been invited to be with you all for Pride. You're all sitting pretty far back, and so I'm going to walk out here a little bit so I can be closer to you, because it feels super weird to stand way back there and preach. And I like to move around anyways, so I'll just kind of walk around, and I'll move this chair so that I don't trip at some point, forgetting it's there. Hey, so none of you know me that well, and so I thought I would start with a little bit about myself. For a little bit of context, I did grow up here in the Twin Cities. I grew up over in Hopkins, which is in the west suburbs, and I then moved out to Washington and lived there for 7 years, and I came back. But growing up, I was an other context. I identify as queer and transgender. That was really what I was getting to. I was like, wait, why am I talking about where I'm from? I grew up in the west suburbs, and I grew up, and I came out as queer when I was 13, and I came out as trans when I was 15. So the reason I mentioned where I'm from is because I transitioned and came out in the early 2000s, 2000-aughts, whatever, in the west suburbs of the Twin Cities. And so that's a little bit of context about my background. And I've been working in ministry for the last 5 or 6 years as an openly queer and trans pastor, youth worker, ministry person, in both really evangelical circles and then like really affirming circles. So I've been to like Crew UT Austin to talk about sexual ethic and theology with a bunch of like really, really conservative Chinese evangelicals who did not agree with me. And then I get to come here to amazing affirming communities and, preach to the choir, as it were. So that's a little bit about me. But going way, way back, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a story about myself as a young child. And then we're going to jump into some scripture, and then hopefully it'll all get wrapped back around for you to walk away with something new to chew on this week. So I grew up a really creative kid. I grew up imaginative. I had a dual disc. I loved to pretend I was like in Yu-Gi-Oh!, doing duels with my friends. I ran around the playground pretending I was a dragon. I would play house with just about anybody that would sit down and play house with me. I loved literally any aspect of imaginative role play. That is the only thing that I would do. And it's ironic because I actually have no visual imagination. I have no capacity to create images in my brain. And so ever since I could remember, I loved to act out the things that I thought about inside of my brain. My brain is full of just racing thoughts constantly all the time. I don't know if anyone else's brain is like that. But as someone who can't create images out of those thoughts, I loved to act them out in the world. And so I would do that at any given chance. Imagination is an incredibly powerful tool. It's a tool that we most often use when we're young to be able to do things like what the children are doing right now, right? To play, to develop relationships with one another. Like a lot